Now, on to the third and hopefully last great romantic love of my life, which has a certain element of excitement to it because it's current. Yes, believe it or not, there are still men out there who appreciate a woman with experience. A person should mature after a while, don't you say? A person comes to know that love is as much of a reflex action as removing your hand from a hot plate. The circumstances surrounding my third and hopefully last, not including the organ, great romantic love of my life occurred last October 3rd when I was sitting in my kitchen over a cup of international coffee, mulling the world and my place in it. This is when I said to myself, I said, Rose, and I answered, what? I said, Rose, you selfish creature. Don't you know that there are people all over the world who would enjoy seeing your life unfold? After all, you were the very first person ever to play the organ in a New York City bank. Don't you think there are organists and non-organists alike who would enjoy seeing your life unfold? And I said, yes. Oh, yes, yes, yes. So I began to write and write and write and write and write until I had what looked like a page. And the pages wouldn't stop until I had what appeared to be a book. I went to visit my sister, honey, in Queens, and she said, Rose, you smell like a book. And I said, I know, honey, I know. And I kissed her, and I ran to the coffee shop and then back home straight away to collate. Seeing my life laid out all over the bed made me dizzy, and I barely got through the process. Page one, page one, page one, page one. Page two, page two, page two, page two. I had to say aloud to make myself believe it was really happening. My head swam, then I smelled of bloody meat and pizza. Just about ready to faint, I run to the post office and I mail what I later find out to be referred to in the business as my MS to 28 random publishers in the phone book, and nearly died doing it, collapsing on my knees in the snow, bloodying it. Passerbys little aware of what lay in my bags. MS, I said, not even knowing what it meant. MS, I said to a man who offered me a Band-Aid. And after mailing my MS, I went home and slept for 2 days straight, my life having been changed forever, and me knowing it. On the third day, Pussy woke me demanding to be fed. I myself craved pizza, which I took to be a good sign despite the memories. So I got up, put on my clothes, made my toilet, and fed Pussy. Ready to exit the apartment, the phone rings. Who could it be, I thought. Why, I hadn't had a phone call in months, and my sister Honey had stopped speaking to me ever since I refused to play the organ at her Amway party. I answered with bated breath. Hello, I said. I was on pins and needles. Hello, was the man's deep reply. Is this Rose Elizabeth Kowalski Monteperto? Yes, I said. This is Vanity Press of New York. Yes, and we're interested in publishing your book. Yes, I said, and I dropped the phone. Oh, thinking back now, it must have hurt poor Richard's ears. Yes, Richard, I said, thank you so much. God bless you. And after I calmed, we discussed the book intellectually and its turn for publication. I learned so much about the publishing industry from Richard, and he of organs, where after a while it was like we read minds. Richard said my book was full of poignant incidences. He said one thing the layman rarely knows, though, about publishing is that it's very expensive, and though the publisher knows a piece of art when he sees it, sometimes he just doesn't have the money and the author has to help defray costs. Well, luckily I had $10,000 in my savings account. Since my divorce from Bob, I never went out and lived on pizza. Bob said my book was full of poignant incidences, and he was so very glad that Rose Grinds Her Organ would come out in the fall. He said, don't expect a bestseller right away, as these things take time. And time for our love to bloom. Well, he didn't say that, but I can tell, I have the distinct feeling from our 2 telephone conversations that Bob will be husband number 3. Richard will be husband number 3. Richard, the third, not including the organ, great romantic love of my life. Just listen to this letter I got from him via my publisher at Vanity Press. Please just listen to it. Bear with me. Dear Rose Elizabeth Kowalski Monteperto, I trust you have had a pleasant holiday. Thank you for the lovely sweater you sent me. Our copy editors are hard at work on your book, Rose Grinds Her Organ. Because your MS was submitted in longhand, we must request that you remit an additional $500 editor's fee before we can continue work on your tome. My tome. In regards to our having lunch together to discuss marketing possibilities, I will be out of town for several months, so it does not seem possible at this time. At this time. We trust you are pleased with the process, and will be expecting your check. Sincerely, Richard Katanowitz. Well, I sent him $600 and told him to treat those poor overworked editors to tads. My sister Honey, though, she is beside herself. Yes, she says, Rose, now, it looks like any old letter to me, but don't you think we trust you are pleased with the process stand out? Like him reading my mind and knowing I am? Oh, my sister Honey, she lives over a fishmonger and always will. Everything she owns smells of fish. I wrote Richard back. See what you think of it now. See if you think it's good. Dear Richard, thank you for your kind and loving words. In a world as this in which things turn out so unexpectedly, it's a true joy to see a man who knows a coquette when he falls on one. As you know, Colette was a coquette as well as many others. Yes, Richard, we will have dinner together. I know this. And a show, if you're inclined to show, is my treat. Well, I know you're probably the old-fashioned type of man who likes to pay for everything, but after my book comes out, we won't exactly be hurting for money now, will we? Isn't it funny how two people can flower in the night? You upon reading my MS after a long, hard day at the office, and me in my slumber whilst you read it? No more pizza, Richard. No more beef. Do you know what this means? Love always. Rose. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Hug, hug, hug.